Remember how life was going along normally before March of 2020? Here at St. Peter's, we were utilizing a topical Bible called Believe. We had worked through the first two sections, what do I believe and what should I do? As the pandemic began, we thought it was important to talk about what was on everyone's mind. So we put the third part of this topical Bible on the shelf, so to say. This summer, it's time to pick it up again. The final section in the Believe Bible deals with 10 key virtues that characterize a Christian: love, joy, peace, self-control, hope, patience, kindness, faithfulness, gentleness, humility. We have copies of this topical Bible available at St. Peter's. You can request one, purchase one online, or simply look up the references we'll include in the video descriptions over the next 10 weeks. It would be great if you would join us this summer. Find a comfy seat, preferably outdoors, grab an ice cold drink, and pick up God's Word. This is how you will remain in Jesus and bear fruit.
I am the true vine, and my Father is the vine dresser. Every branch in me that does not bear fruit, he takes away. And every branch that does bear fruit, he prunes, that it may bear more fruit. As the branch cannot bear fruit by itself unless it abides in the vine, neither can you unless you abide in me. I am the vine, you are the branches. Whoever abides in me and I in him, he it is that bears much fruit. For apart from me, you can do nothing. If anyone does not abide in me, he is thrown away like a branch and withers, and the branches are gathered, thrown into the fire, and burned. If you abide in me and my words abide in you, ask whatever you wish, and it will be done for you. By this my Father is glorified, that you bear much fruit, and so prove to be my disciples. As the Father has loved me, so I have loved you. Abide in my love. If you keep my commandments, you will abide in my love, just as I have kept my Father's commandments and abide in his love. John 15, 1 through 10.
There's a question that's important to ask as we start this series of messages. Who am I becoming? But even before we get there, we have to begin with who was I and who am I now? The answer to those is, well, I'm a forgiven sinner. And in grace, Jesus reached out to me and he made me a new creation. And here's what's so wonderful about being a new creation. God created you for a purpose. He wants you to have a fantastic life. He created you in this special way so that you can enjoy a relationship with him. And as a result, he can do miraculous things through you. He wants you to have a life filled with purpose and mission and real excitement. So in answer to the who am I becoming question, John 15 gives us some direction on where to begin. I am the vine, you are the branches. If you remain in me and I in you, you will bear much fruit. Apart from me, you can do nothing. There are a lot of things that Jesus could have talked about in the vineyard. Jesus wanted to talk about grapes. But why grapes? Jesus often taught by using word pictures. In his stories, he helped people see something familiar and somehow make an application to it. Then he explained how to look at that thing in a new way. Everyone understood grapes back then. Jesus wanted his disciples to see how important it is to stay connected. Maybe if he taught that lesson today, he'd use the internet as an example. But in Jesus' day, people knew as much about vineyards as you and I do about computers and cell phones. He would illustrate the same kind of connection by pointing out the parts of the vineyard. So let's do that. I am the true vine. With grapes, the vine's more like the trunk. It grows up out of the ground and it supports the rest of the plant. A healthy vine has a root system that goes deep into the soil to draw water into the plant. And this water becomes the plant life. It becomes sap, which flows through the vine and into the branches. And eventually, it produces juicy grapes. Well, what about the gardener? I am the true vine, and my Father is the gardener. The vine dresser, the gardener's task is simple: to take care of the plants and to help them produce as many grapes as possible. The better the vine dresser cares for the vineyard, the more grapes it will produce at the end of the season. And then there's the branches. You are the branches. Lots of branches can grow out of each grapevine. Each branch usually grows a different direction, and each one bears fruit. The branches get fed by their connection to the vine, which helps them grow and climb. And the vine dresser ties these sturdy branches to supports so they don't get too heavy and break. The healthier and stronger the branch, the more grapes it will grow. And then there's the fruit. This is to my Father's glory, that you bear much fruit. The goal behind all the hard work of tending and pruning and weeding and watering the grapevines is to get a whole lot of grapes to harvest. In other words, it's all about the fruit. And with the right care, each branch can grow lots of grapes. Jesus wanted us to have an easy to remember illustration. How can a branch possibly survive without a vine? And he reveals how important it is to stay connected to him. We draw our life directly from him. He also shows us the Father's role. God cares for us as a faithful vine dresser. He watches over us. He supports us. And the most exciting part of the story is that as branches, we can bear fruit. And bearing fruit for Jesus will bring us more joy than anything else in the world. In the vineyard, branches can slip off their supports and fall onto the ground. Wind blows, dust settles, and leaves overhead block the sunlight. And in the rain, the branch just lies in the mud where it can get diseased. Now, you might think the gardener would come along and just snip those worthless branches right off. They're only good for the burning pile, right? The gardener understands that every branch is valuable, and with the right care, even fallen branches can start to produce grapes again. So the gardener kneels in the dirt and picks up the dirty branches, and he gently washes their muddy leaves. Then he carefully ties them back up on their supports, and in time, they will grow strong and produce big, juicy clumps of grapes. So let me ask you, have you ever felt like you fell into the mud? Far too often for me. I find myself just being selfish. I cut corners. Sometimes I downright cheat on things. And you know what? Anytime I'm dishonest or unloving toward someone, it bothers me. And I feel guilty. And while I start out feeling close to Jesus, I'm embarrassed and I don't feel comfortable praying anymore. Those are times when I find myself pushing my Bible away and thinking, I'll do that later. I become separated from the vine. Let's read. I am the vine, you are the branches. If you remain in me and I in you, you will bear much fruit. Apart from me, you can do nothing. If you do not remain in me, you are like a branch that's thrown away and withers. Such branches are picked up, thrown into the fire, and burned. If you remain in me and my words remain in you, ask whatever you wish, and it will be done for you. This is to my Father's glory, that you bear much fruit, showing yourselves to be my disciples. That sounds amazing. Who am I becoming? A disciple, a follower of Jesus. Jesus tells his followers about remaining in his love. That's what this whole illustration of the vine and the branches is about. As the Father has loved me, so have I loved you. Now remain in my love. If you keep my commands, you will remain in my love, just as I have kept my Father's commands and remain in his love. I have told you this so that my joy may be in you and that your joy may be complete. My command is this: love each other as I have loved you. Greater love has no one than this, to lay down one's life for one's friend. You are my friends if you do what I command. That's love. I want that. He loves us with a sacrificial love. Even when you and I are most unlovable, that's when he lays down his life for you and even calls you his friend. But how can that be? You did not choose me, but I chose you and appointed you so that you might go and bear fruit that will last. I chose you and appointed you, God tells us. I gave you a job and a purpose. I entrust you so that you might bear fruit. Who am I becoming? Because of Jesus' undeserved love, I'm becoming his delicious, ripe, juicy fruit. If we're connected to Jesus, we're assured the Father will water, till the soil, prune us back where we need to be pruned, that we can be even more fruitful. And he will make sure we have the proper exposure to the Son, his Son, so we grow. So think about it. What qualities do you like most in a friend? Do you want someone who's always there for you, a good listener, accepting of you, trustworthy and loyal, willing to forgive, understanding, ready to love you no matter what? Well, I've just described the friendship Jesus wants with you and me. Who am I becoming? Just look at your fruit. Here are the words of blessing Jesus speaks over you. I am the vine, you are the branches. If you remain in me and I in you, you will bear much fruit.
Standing here in your presence, in a grace so relentless, I am won by perfect love, wrapped within the arms of heaven, in a peace that lasts forever, sinking deep in mercy. See, I'm wide awake, drawing close, stirred by grace, and all my heart is yours. All fear removed, I breathe you in, I lean into your love. Oh, your love. is washing over me. Your face is all